Hi everybody and welcome to today's practice. Today we're going to be exploring the power of our breathing to help heal, whether it's to help heal a physical part of our bodies or an emotional wound. The breath is a really powerful resource and tool that we can use to help bring in more energy, more oxygen into our bodies. And we can also use the breath to help relieve tightness, tension, to release things that we don't want to be holding and carrying anymore. So whether that's a physical tension in our bodies, whether it's a mental or emotional stress or strain that we're having, the breath can be a way to release and heal some of that. So we're going to explore that in our practice today. And I'd like to start with sharing one of my favorite quotes with you by L.R. Nost. Before we do that, I just invite you to sit really comfortably, either in a chair or on your mat. Sit up nice and tall, lifting up through the crown of the head, nice long tall spine. Breathe in. Exhale, relax the shoulders down and back. Feel your shoulders hovering above your hip bones. Let your hands rest comfortably in your lap. And start to deepen your breath. So slow, steady inhales and exhales. Feeling yourself fill up with that fresh air and oxygen and energy as you inhale. And feeling a beautiful release as you exhale. And we'll try to make our breath as deep and expansive as possible. So when you inhale, at the top of your breath, when you think you're full of air, see if you can sip in just a little bit more air. Expand your lungs fully. And then when you exhale, at the bottom of your exhale, see if you can draw your belly in just a bit to get all the air out. And then the inhale begins again. So imagine that you're trying to stretch the breath. And with each breath, feel yourself settle into your mat, ready for your practice. Settle into yourself. Feel your body, feel your breath. And here's the quote I wanted to share by L.R. Nost. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break, and all things can be mended. Not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go. Love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you. So as we let those words settle in and we begin our practice, I invite you to check in and notice if there's a part of you, whether it's a physical part of your body or an emotional part of you that needs a little bit of healing today. And I'd like you just to place your hands on that part of the body. So if your neck has been hurting or your lower back, or if it's an emotional wound, maybe you take your hands to the heart. And just take a great big deep breath into that part of your body, sending your attention, visualizing that part of your body as you breathe in deeply. Exhale, releasing any tension, any tightness, anything you don't want to be carrying around with you anymore. As you inhale, drawing in that fresh air, oxygen, energy. Exhale to release. The mantra that I'd like to share with you today is how can the breath be used to heal? How can the breath be used to heal? Keeping that mantra in the back of your mind as we move through our practice today. How can the breath be used to heal? Take another deep breath in through the nose. And beautiful release as you exhale out. Bring your hands together in front of the heart, tuck the chin, and welcome yourself to your practice. Okay. Go ahead and come to your mat if you're not already, and let's get started. And we're going to start in a nice, easy child's pose. So we'll bring the hands out in front of us, bring the knees apart, big toes to touch, and then drop your hips back to your heels. Stretch the arms out and bring the forehead to the floor. Let your elbows rest on the mat. If that doesn't feel comfortable, you can make a little pillow with your hands or fists with your hands and place your forehead right on top of your hands like this. If your hips are far away from your heels, you might take a blanket or a pillow. I'm going to grab this pillow here. And you might just sit down on your pillow, like so. And I'd like just to take 5 deep breaths in and out here. So as you exhale, let your hips settle down into your heels. Feel your arms stretch out. And as you inhale, feel your belly expand between the thighs. And we'll take 3 more slow, steady breaths here. Feeling the stretch in your spine and your hips. Maybe in other areas of your body, just notice where you're feeling sensation. What parts of your body feel perhaps a little bit tight or tense. And as you inhale, just imagine sending your breath to any area that feels the most tension or tightness. One more slow, steady breath here. And before we come out of this pose, bring attention to that space between your shoulder blades, the back of your heart, and take a great big deep breath into the back of your heart and feel it kind of puff out and expand. Deep inhale, breathing into the space between your shoulder blades. And deep exhale out. Inhale, slowly walk the hands back towards you. Go ahead and come up onto all fours into tabletop position. Spread your fingers really wide. Bring your wrists underneath your shoulders. And we're going to tuck our toes. Okay. On your inhale, we'll arch the spine and peek up towards the ceiling. On your exhale, round your back, tuck the chin, and tuck the tailbone. Inhale to arch, slow, steady breath. Exhale to round and tuck, pull the belly up. Tuck the chin. Again, 3 more. Inhale, 3. Exhale. Good. On your next inhale, go ahead and come back into tabletop. And we're going to step our left leg forward and come into a lunge. Now, if this hurts your back knee, if you need a little bit of padding, you might place a pillow or a folded blanket or towel underneath your knee. Another option is to kind of fold your mat on itself like this. And then if you don't have like a blanket or a towel, and then step that left leg forward, okay? So take a moment, lift your torso, bring your shoulders right over the hip bones, hands on your hips. And as you exhale, we're gonna bend the front knee and drop your hips towards the mat. Try to bring the knee somewhere over that left ankle, and then press down through the left foot and bring your hips over the right knee. Okay, let's try that again. So bend, lower, press down through the left foot, and lift. Go ahead and do that 3 times here on your own. If this is too much of a stretch, you can untuck your back toes. If you'd like a deeper stretch, when you lift your hips over the right knee, tuck your tailbone a little bit more, so you're kind of pushing your hips forward. Go ahead and do one more. And just feeling into that right hip flexor, nice opening for that hip here. And then on your last one, we're gonna hold, bending into the front knee, dropping the hips, hands on the hips. And then as you inhale, look forward and just stretch your arms up. And then as you exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades together and back, bend the elbows behind you, and then come all the way back up. Okay, let's just do that 2 more times. So inhale, bend. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Inhale, reach. Good, 1 more time. Exhale, bend. And reach. Good. From here, bring the hands down. We're gonna take a stretch for the front leg. So extend the front leg as much as is comfortable. It doesn't have to be all the way straight. As you can tell, mine's not all the way straight. If you'd like a little more, lift your toes and flex the front foot. Okay. So you're just looking for a stretch behind the left leg. As long as you're feeling that, then you're getting the benefits. So pull the right hip forward and press the left hip back, squaring your hips to the front of your mat. Inhale, come onto your fingertips. If you have yoga blocks, you can place your hands on yoga blocks. Lengthen the spine, reach through the crown of your head. Exhale, if you'd like to deepen, bend your elbows, relax the head, and fold over the front leg. Give the head a little shake side to side so you're really releasing your neck and allowing the heaviness of your head to stretch the spine and the neck. Breathe in here. So remembering those really full, steady breaths that we practiced earlier. Notice where you feel tightness, and we're gonna breathe into that part of your body. So I'm feeling this in my left hamstring, so I'm gonna visualize my left hamstring in my mind, and then I'm gonna take a deep breath into there. And then a slow exhale out. Okay, do 2 more like that on your own. Inhale. Exhale, keeping the mantra in the back of your mind. How can my breath be used to heal? How can I bring that breath into the areas of tightness? How can I release tightness and tension on the exhale? That could be one way the breath can help to heal. On your next inhale, we're gonna bend the front knee, place the foot flat on the floor, and then come back into either child's pose or downward facing dog, just to transition. So big stretch back, downward facing dog looks like this. The hips lift up, the heels relax downwards, head is relaxed. Or of course, child's pose, which we just did. So take a few breaths here. Feel the stretch in your spine. If you're in child's pose, reach your fingertips a little bit farther towards the top of your mat and lift your elbows off the floor. So it's a little bit more of an active child's pose, stretching the shoulders and the arms as well. 1 more breath wherever you're at. Good, and then we'll make our way back into a lunge. So if you're in child's pose, come onto all fours, and we'll step the other leg forward. If you're in down dog, go ahead and just step the right foot forward now. Or if you did the other foot, just step the opposite one. Press down through the front foot, lift your hips, shoulders come right over the hip bones, hands to the hips. So before we do anything else, try to just establish this alignment. Shoulders over hips, tuck your tailbone under like you're scooping it under, and you're gonna feel the front of your left hip, nice and stretched and open, okay? And then on your exhale, bend the front knee, lower the hips until you feel a deeper stretch in front of the left. Press through the right foot and lift back up. Go ahead and play with that a few times on your own. And just notice how this side feels. It might feel a little bit different than the first side. Go ahead and take one more lunge, bending the front knee, and we're gonna hold here. Hug your inner thighs towards each other so your lower body is pretty strong and stable. So squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up, gaze forward. Good, and then from here, bend the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and press the elbows down. Inhale, reach up. And bend. And lift. And one more time, really squeeze those shoulder blades together, open the chest, and lift up. Bring the hands to the floor or onto your yoga blocks if you have any. Extend the front leg until you feel the stretch in your hamstring, and maybe lift up your toes if you want a little bit more. So try to keep your hips square to the front of your mat. And what I mean by that is you're pulling your left hip forward and you're kind of pressing the right hip back. It's going to deepen the stretch a bit. Okay. Now inhale, lengthen your spine, reach through the crown of the head. Exhale, bend the elbows and just softly fold, relax the head. So we're not pulling ourselves down in this position. It's more like we're taking a big exhale and just relaxing down however much our body naturally does. Yeah, so it's kind of it's a more passive way of coming into this pose. Now that we're here, you might be feeling quite a lot of sensations, so bring attention to where you feel it the most. Visualize it in your mind and take a deep inhale into that spot. Big exhale to release. Drawing the belly in at the bottom of your exhale. 2 more breaths just like that. Starting to, if you're not already, constrict the back of your throat for that ujjayi breathing. So it's kind of like you're sighing, but your mouth is closed, so it's more quiet. Oh, and then from here, we're going to go ahead and bring the right foot flat to the floor and then come back either into child's pose or downward facing dog and just take a big stretch here. Reaching the hips up. If you're in child's pose, just relax your hips down towards your heels. For you, downward dog, for you guys in downward dog, go ahead and try this. Bend your elbows about 2 inches and then hug your elbows towards each other like you're trying to squeeze them towards your midline. And you're gonna feel the shoulder blades kind of broaden on your back. And then from there, just relax your head. So you're keeping the shoulder blades nice and broad on the back. And then you can press your hands a little bit more into the floor, relax your head, and release your heels. 1 more deep breath here. Exhale to release. Good. From here, lower the knees to the floor if you're in down dog. And we're going to come to a seated position. So go ahead and walk yourself into a seated position with your right leg extended out to the side. So try to get it out to the side as much as is comfortable. The opposite leg tucks in towards you, and the toes are facing up towards the ceiling. So I want to do a nice stretch here for the inner thighs. The right hand comes either on top of the leg or inside the leg. Left arm stretches out, up, and over. So just leaning over, keeping your chest parallel to the screen in front of you. So we're not dropping the shoulder like this. We're drawing the shoulder back, reaching through the fingertips and grounding through your left hip. Breathe here. This is such a nice stretch because it kind of gets into some of those areas that we often neglect. The inner thighs, the lateral parts of the body, the rib cage, the waist. So slow, steady breaths here. How spacious, how long can you make your breathing? If you want to relax your head and give your neck a little stretch, you can do that. You can also kind of cradle your head in your hands. Focus again on drawing that left shoulder back and reach out a little farther through those fingertips. Keep grounding through the left hip. One more breath here. Good. As you exhale, bring your hands to the floor alongside, on either side of your leg. Rotate your chest towards the leg, so you're kind of facing your leg. And then slowly lengthen the spine and fold forward. Relax your head and deepen the breath here. So it's a forward fold with a little bit of a spinal twist, keeping your belly, your chest facing the leg. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. 2 more. As we hold and we breathe here, I want you just to notice if you're tightening up anywhere in your upper body, especially your shoulders, your eyes. Are you clenching your jaw? So on our last breath in this pose, on your exhale, relax your eyes and soften your jaw. Good. Before we come out of this pose, if your body is able to relax maybe a millimeter deeper into the pose to deepen the stretch, go ahead and let that happen, but don't force it. One more inhale. One more exhale. And then walk the hands towards you. Press through the fingertips, roll yourself up nice and slowly until you bring your head. You can use your hand, your forehead, to help your head come back up. And then just face your chest forward. Take a moment to pause. Take a full breath in and out. Try to keep your spine nice and long. Lift up through the crown of your head, shoulders hovering right above those hip bones. And just have a lovely moment. That's what my first yoga teacher used to say. Sometimes we just kind of rush between the poses, but it's nice to just pause, slow down, and just have a moment in between. So take a breath. And feel a tall, healthy posture. Establish that. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and switch. You can use your hands to bend this knee and then extend the opposite leg. So again, try to get your toes, your kneecap pointing up towards the ceiling. And this other leg, other foot tucks in. Left hand on the leg or right hand side, and the right arm sweeps out, up, and then all the way over. So chest is parallel to the screen in front. Draw that left shoulder back. And if you like, relax the head. And slow, steady breaths here. We'll take about 4 on your own. Slow inhale. And exhale, drawing the lower belly in at the bottom of your exhale. And notice, again, if there's tension anywhere that doesn't need to be tense. Perhaps the eyes, the jaw, the neck, the shoulders. And recalling our mantra, how can we use the breath to heal? How can we use the breath in this pose to release anything that doesn't need to be contracted or tense? Because that's actually a waste of energy, and it causes stress in the body when we're tensing in our shoulders or when we're clenching our jaw and we're not even realizing it. That contraction is actually kind of leaking your energy out. It takes energy to contract and be tense like that. So how can we release here? Take one more breath. Good. And then bring your hands to either side of this leg. We're going to rotate the belly and the chest to face the leg as much. So you might have to lift your body first, lengthen the spine, and then fold forward over the leg. Relax your head. And deep breaths in and out. So when you relax your head here, use that as an opportunity to really soften the neck, feel the stretch along the entire length of the spine. As you inhale, feel your chest rise up to your chin, feel your belly expand. As you exhale, soften and release. Take 2 more breaths here. Good, and before we come out, if you want to see if you can soften maybe a millimeter deeper into the pose, go for it, but don't force anything. Just find your edge. Good, and then on your inhale, roll yourself up. Bring the palm of your hand to the forehead if you want to help your head come up. And pause again at the top. And right away, just feel your body kind of realign itself. Feel the spine nice and tall. Feel the crown of the head hovering above your tailbone, shoulders over the hips. Take a breath in, have a lovely moment. And exhale out. And from here, we'll use the hands to bend the leg. And we're going to roll onto our bellies into Sphinx pose. So go ahead and lower down onto your belly. Bring your feet comfortably apart. So maybe hip width apart, maybe even a little bit more than hip width apart. And I can't see you, so I want you to check yourselves. Well, I can see a couple of you, but not all of you. Bring your elbows right underneath your shoulders. And then spread your fingers, forearms parallel. And gently press your hands and forearms into the floor. Not a lot, but just as if you were trying to make little imprints in the sand or in the mat. And then from here, you're gonna imagine you're kind of drawing your hands towards your body, like you're trying to drag them. But they're not going to move. It's just this feeling of doing it. And then draw the chest forward so your spine is arched and your heart is nice and open here. Gaze forward. Feel the stretch in your belly, your chest, your shoulders. Imagine you're balancing a bowl of water on your head, and take a deep breath in. As you exhale, press your shoulders down and away from your ears. and draw the chest forward. So even though we're not moving, it's like an isometric exercise because we're drawing the hands towards us and opening the chest forward. If you'd like to add a little bit more to this, build some strength in the arms, press down through your hands, keep the shoulders away from your ears, and just lift your elbows about 2 inches off the floor and hug your elbows in towards each other. Okay, so you're gonna feel that in probably your fingers, your wrists, your arms, up to the shoulders, getting a little bit of a deeper stretch in the front of your body, more of an arch in the spine. And then as you exhale, bring the elbows back down. Okay, we'll try that 2 more times. If it's too much for you, then you don't have to do that part. Okay, press through your hands, lift your elbows a couple inches off the floor, hug the elbows towards each other. Gaze forward, draw the chest forward, relax the hips, breathe in. Exhale, release, beautiful. One more time. Press through your hands, lift. And you might even be able to lift your elbows higher this time. So just kind of play with it, explore your range of motion in this posture. And if you want more, you can come into a more full cobra by bringing the hands closer to you. But try to keep your shoulders down, away from the ears, and hug the elbows together, towards each other. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more here. You're doing great. One more inhale. And exhale. Slowly, slowly bend, bend the elbows, and then come into either child's pose or downward facing dog. Oh, both of these poses, whether you're in down dog or child's pose, are going to be a nice stretch for your spine. So feel the spine stretch and lengthen. If you're in down dog, press those hands into the floor like you're stretching your mat away from your feet. And lift your tailbone high up and back. Heels relaxed. If you're in child's pose, settle those hips down to the heels. Deep breath in, breathing into the lower back here. And deep breath out. One more breath. Exhale out. Okay. If you're in child's pose, go ahead and make your way into down dog. We're all going to meet in downward facing dog here, just for a moment. And then from here, we're going to walk the feet towards the top of the mat. And hang out here in a forward fold. So you can bring your hands behind your calves and draw your chest a little closer towards your legs, okay? But your legs don't have to be straight. So you can see that mine are kind of bent. You don't want to strain the hamstrings. You just want to find a nice stretch. So hands behind your calves. Gently draw your upper body to your lower body. Keep your knees bent enough that your belly is kind of touching your thighs here. And then forehead comes close to your shins. As you inhale, lift your hips as high as is comfortable and press your thighs back. But don't force anything, just find a nice stretch in the hamstrings and in the spine. Deep breath in here. Deep breath out. Okay, hold here, just bring your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, and just press your hands up to the ceiling. Draw your hands over the head, just to open your shoulders up as much as is comfortable. Okay, so again, not forcing anything. You might have a shoulder injury and you might just be able to bring your hands like down here. That's totally fine. If it hurts to bring your hands behind your back, then just keep them here. So really make this practice your own. Take one more breath in and one more breath out. Okay, shake the head out like you're saying no, very slowly. And then exhale, we're gonna bend the knees. We're gonna lower down onto our tailbone and bring the legs bent, feet hip width apart, reach the arms forward. Lengthen the spine And we're going to roll down very slowly onto our back. So it's a little bit of a core strengthener. Tuck your tailbone and roll down one vertebrae at a time as best as you can. Whoop. And then relax your hands, palms facing down. Bring your knees over your hip bones and bend your knees 90 degrees here. So bring your hands right behind your head. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, draw your lower belly in and flatten your lower back onto the floor. Okay? And then go ahead and, as you inhale, just release that. So then your back kind of lifts off the floor. Again, exhale, draw your lower belly in, flatten your lower back to the floor. Engage your abdominals. Hold that. And as you exhale, cradle your head in your hands. Lift your shoulder blades off the floor and bring your nose, as if you're trying to touch your nose towards your knees. Keep lifting here. Shoulder blades are lifted off the mat. Just a little bit of core strengthening. From here, extend your right leg out and bring your right elbow towards the left knee. Inhale, come right back to center. Exhale, left elbow to right knee. Inhale, center. Okay, we'll do 2 more full sets. Exhale, right elbow. Inhale, centered. Exhale, left elbow. It's really hard to talk while I'm doing this. Inhale, center. I'm like trembling. Exhale, right elbow. Inhale. 1 more. You're doing great. Keep your shoulder blades lifted. Exhale, left elbow. And inhale, center. Release your head to the floor. Keep your hands where they are. Keep the lower belly drawing in. Lower back is flat on the floor. We're going to do a twist here. So a moving twist. Exhale, lower your knees towards the right side. Okay, they don't have to touch the mat or the floor. Maybe they hover right above the floor. And then draw your belly in. Use your core to bring you back to center. Exhale, knees to the left side. Keep your core nice and strong. Inhale, draw the belly in, come back to center. Okay, again, 1 more time. Exhale to the right. And you might only come like halfway down. You don't have to come really close to the floor. So just find what feels good for you. Draw the belly in, come back to center. Last time to the left. And back to center. Beautiful. Bring your feet to the floor, hip width apart, knees bent, hands beside you, palms down. Let's finish with a nice, strong, easy bridge. Press down through your feet, roll your hips up towards the ceiling. Interlace your hands underneath you if you want a little bit more. Otherwise, you can just keep them apart, palms down. Okay. Wherever you are, if you have your hands interlaced, wiggle your shoulders close together. And then we're all going to press down through our feet, even through our toes a little bit, and then lift the hips up. Find a nice opening through the front of your body, nice stretch for the front body. Relax the neck, let the chin tuck towards the chest. Hug your inner thighs towards each other, but keep your knees over the ankles. Deep breath in. Exhale out. 1 more. Hold. Deep breath in. Relax your eyes. I know you're probably clenching your jaw, tightening your eyes, soften the face. And exhale out. Gently release your hands. Roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. Bring your knees towards you. Come into happy baby. Or just hold your knees with your hands and bring your knees apart. Happy baby is when we flex our feet and turn them up to the ceiling, holding either behind your thighs or ankles, or even the outer edges of your feet. You can rock a little bit side to side here. This is a nice way to end a practice. A lot of times we'll end a practice with this because it kind of releases the lower back, opens up the hips, makes our practice and our bodies feel a little bit more at ease and complete. So just a couple more beds here. Good. And if you want to extend the right leg a little bit, just stretch it out, extend the left leg a little bit. Be gentle though. Good. And then bring the legs together, wrap your arms around, bring the forehead to the knees, and squeeze into a tiny little ball. Tighten up the whole face, the eyes, the nose, and mouth. And then stretch the face, stick out the tongue, and roll the eyes back. And release. Bring the head to the floor. Bring the arms away from you, palms up. Stretch the legs out. Feet apart, toes to the sides. If that's not comfortable, you can bend your knees. Feet mat width apart, knees resting together. Take a great big deep breath in through your nose. Big release through the mouth. So a little bit of a sighing sound. One more time, breathe in through the nose. And sigh it out. And just allow yourself this time to just rest here for the next couple minutes. I'll ring a bell gently when it's time to come out. Until then, just feeling your belly rise and fall with your breath. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to be. Feeling all the bones nice and heavy. All your muscles relax. Belly rising and falling as the body breathes itself. Sorry, not yet. Begin to deepen the breath. Feeling the belly rise and fall. Place the left hand at the heart, right hand at the lower belly. Feeling this connection to your physical body, to this powerful tool of our breath, and to our heart center, that space of love, kindness, compassion, connection. And just take a deep breath in, fully connected to all of these parts of ourselves as one. And take a moment to place your hands over the part of your body that you were maybe needing a little bit of healing. If it was your neck, your knee, your shoulder, or maybe just over the heart, place your hand wherever that was. And take a couple of deep breaths into that spot. And with your breath, with your attention, simply giving your attention and focus to that part, that in and of itself is healing. So just notice how it feels to do that. And remember that you can do that anytime throughout your day. Just a really simple tool. Simple but powerful tool. On your next inhale, we'll take a big stretch. So reach your arms up, stretch your legs, point your toes. And on your exhale, roll to your right side into a fetal position. You can use your arm as a pillow, bend your knees. Take a full breath in and out here. And then slowly press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. So bring attention to your posture, the length of your spine, shoulders over hips. Be mindful of the way that you hold yourself up when you're sitting, when you're standing, so that you can develop that healthy posture throughout your day. And once you're sitting, just take a moment to pause, noticing how you feel after your practice. Any difference from when you came in today? And as you exhale, bring your hands together at the heart and tuck your chin. And I'd like to just say a little blessing, and you can repeat after me out loud or in your mind. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free of suffering. May all beings be at peace. Thank you so much for sharing your practice. Namaste.